What's up, y'all? Y'all already know what time it is. We have a tech testimony from she did a cybersecurity boot camp. Y'all have been asking me for probably about a couple years now to do a tech testimony stream with someone who did a cybersecurity boot camp. And we just collaborated with this cybersecurity boot camp where a lot of their students have been landing jobs in cybersecurity. So she was able to land a job in cybersecurity, and she is coming on here to tell her story about her getting in the industry. If everybody that's hopping on, those of you that are on Instagram, we're also live on YouTube and LinkedIn. For those of y'all that are on Instagram who are interested in the same cybersecurity program that she did, just comment cyber career, and then you will get a DM of a breakdown of the information. They have career advisors that you can actually have a free call with, free consultation to talk to them about it, ask more questions beyond this. For everybody that decides to actually, you're like, yo, I want to go ahead and get in cybersecurity. Of course, in your DMs, you'll see a discount code. So that way you can get some monies off, all that good stuff. But definitely stay tuned. Bring all your questions because this is going to be worthwhile. For those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, just look at the description, which should be right under the drop down of the video. And you'll see all the information in there, as well as the link to be able to schedule a call with their cybersecurity career advisor. So very excited about this conversation because y'all been asking about this for a while, and I'm very grateful for Rebecca to be on here to have this conversation. And oh yeah, I see you sent the request, so I'm gonna go ahead and accept that. All right, cool. She's about to come on right now. Again, I'm going to go over the house rules for everybody really quickly. First and foremost, the entire purpose of this is to inspire, educate, and encourage. The purpose of this isn't to make anybody feel sad, feel depressed, feel as if your life isn't together because you're not in the tech industry. The purpose of this is to inspire and encourage people, as well as to educate you on the opportunities that you have to get into the industry. Also, be polite to one another in the comments. Be polite to my guest. Are you Rebecca, are your Bluetooth, are your AirPods on?
Yes.
Oh, you didn't hit the mute button on the computer yet, I don't think.
I did.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I was hearing. Anyway, so aside from that, so excuse me, y'all. I'm tripping. So be polite to one another in the comments. Be polite to the guests, and of course, be polite. Be kind to yourself. Make sure you're dropping your questions on Instagram. Make sure you're putting your questions in the selected questions section. There's a button you click for a drop down. You put your questions in there, and we're going to address your questions later. We'll address them periodically. If your questions are not in there, we're not going to address them because we're not going to have time to answer all of the questions in the. Yeah, somebody said it's echoing a bit. Yeah, because I'm hearing the. Yeah, they're hearing the echo. Well, no. So you won't mute there. You said you hit the mute button on the keyboard. Maybe just turn the volume all the way down on the keyboard. Maybe that'll work better.
How about now?
Test. All right, perfect. Yeah, all right, great. Thank you so much. Hey, look, y'all. We in tech, she in cybersecurity, but sometimes you still got to try to figure this stuff out. Yeah, so so good stuff, y'all. So so we're about to go ahead and get into it. I'm very excited about this. Again, thank you, Rebecca, for coming on. And again, y'all, everybody on LinkedIn, on YouTube, make sure y'all got y'all questions ready. Y'all been asking for this. Let's get into it. So again, she went from, I put down in the post that she went from being a server, but come to find out, she was doing something in tech that many of you consider a tech job. And I've always talked about how it's kind of is, but it kind of isn't. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But first off, Rebecca, if you can just tell everybody, if you could just answer this first question. So what boot camp did you do to get in tech? How long did it take you to land your first role after the boot camp? And then if you could follow up with like what that experience was like when you actually received the offer letter or the approval, being told that, yes, you are now accepted to work basically in a cybersecurity role.
Yes, thank you for having me. Well, my story is a little bit let's just say different. So I joined the bootcamp. It was through a friend because I'm someone that's always looking to do something more. And I always knew I wanted more. And I just didn't know how I wanted to go about it. And prior to that, I did other things that I wanted to break into tech, which
Yeah. Hmm. I'm sorry, Rebecca. Can you hold on 1 second? People on YouTube and LinkedIn said that they can't hear you. Can you? Hmm. That's weird. Said you're muted on YouTube. No, because I've done that before, so that usually shouldn't be the problem. So look, let's try it the other way, reverse one more time. If it starts creating a echo or feedback loop for everybody on Instagram, then unfortunately we're just gonna have to ask everybody on YouTube and LinkedIn to join us on Instagram. But if you can just just hit the mute button instead of having it turned down, just hit the mute button because they should still be able to hear you.
All right, let me try that.
Because y'all can still hear me, correct?
Is there still an echo?
No, I don't hear an echo. Well,
Okay.
I do when I talk.
I can hear any echo on my side though.
Yeah, because it's all right, cool. What about all those of y'all on Instagram? Can y'all hear the echo? Or is it fire? Are y'all is it manageable to where y'all it's okay? All right, so there's an echo, but is it an annoying echo? Like, are we able to continue the conversation? Because now LinkedIn and YouTube can hear manageable. Okay, cool. So they said it's manageable. So we're gonna rock. Y'all let us know if it becomes too much. So anyway, Rebecca, please continue your story. If you can actually go back just a little bit, because I know you mentioned if you can start from where you mentioned how sometimes people think tech boot camps are scams or that you can't really believe in them, and then please continue there.
Yeah, so whenever you hear boot camp, especially when it's those high paying jobs, the first thing you're gonna say is this real? You're gonna try to find out if it's really something that is reliable, if it's something that's really legit, as
Yeah.
people would say. So when my friend sent it to me, um, I wasn't skeptical. I just knew I wanted to do cybersecurity. I just wanted to know if that program was the perfect fit for me. um so when I went through, because before you get into that, and before you get into the program, you have a free session as to break down on what's going to happen throughout the program, what you're going to have access to, and what's the community is like, so you're not going there blindsided. So that's something that I really like. So on that first session, I knew I wanted to do it. So I was like, yes, I need to do it. The amount of money you're gonna pay for it, it's kind of like, because if you think of it, even if you're starting a business, you have to invest, you have to put some money, or else how you're gonna start it. So it's the same way when you see a boot camp and then you see the amount of money, you're like, okay, don't think about it like, oh my god, that's a lot of money, but think about it about what you're gonna get from it and how much you're gonna get from after that. It's gonna be more than what you paid for it. So
Yeah.
the value you're gonna get for it. So when I saw that session, I knew I wanted to join, and then I went there, and basically the community is really good. Like when you get there, you have all those tools that you're gonna get to, and then the teachers are really, really kind, and then they are really patient with you if you don't understand any question that you have, and you always have access to the people. So you always have access, no matter what. Our teacher was based in UK, and even though he was in UK and then he had to go back to his country in India, you still had access to him. Even though the time difference was crazy, he was like, okay, right now it's nighttime for me. Give me 6 hours and I'll be right back. Or he'll be like, I'm about to have dinner at this time. It's 8 p.m. for me. Let me get right back. So it wasn't always like, oh, it's late right now, I cannot talk and such and such. So you always had access. You always had access to the people, which is something that I really liked. And then the value you get out of it, because you get trained on anything that's really relevant on the cybersecurity world nowadays, and the tools, most of the tools that they use too, you get trained for it. And then all the classes are recorded, so you always have access to those recording. Even if you cannot attend class, you can go back and start the recording, and then you can get the same amount of knowledge as if you were in class, which is something that is really good. And that was really something that convenient, especially for people that work certain different type of schedules, or because we had morning classes. So if you couldn't make it, then whenever you're done with work, you can go back to the streaming, watch the videos, and then after that, if you have questions, you can still talk to the teacher and he will still be able to help you if you have any questions. So that was something that was really something that I liked when I was there. Um, and it wasn't really difficult, because when you get there, you have, I think it was 15 courses, like where breakdown, where they do little lessons. And then they want you to finish that first. So you know, some of the terms that they use. Like if you go in the class, you're not going to be like, okay, so what does that mean? So once you finish it, you let them know, then you start the class, and then they show you step by step on how to do the demo on downloading those tools. And then so you know what the tools look like before you even start working, so you know what you're going to get into, what you need to do, if you need to do such and such things. And even if you don't know, you can just ask the teacher and they will help you. So that was something that was really helpful, to be honest.
Yeah, that's incredible. So we're going to talk a lot more about this, because I know a lot of y'all are going to have questions about, about the program she did. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this. But can you just, how long did it take you after you completed the program before you actually landed your job? And then what was that experience like when you were given the offer to finally be able to work in cybersecurity, or in a cybersecurity role?
So for me, it was different, a little bit different, because a lot of people I've known peer in my classes that did all that, where they had to go through, you know, applying for jobs, go to the interviews, get offer letters. We had several of them in our peers that did that, and they succeeded. But for me, it was a little bit different, because that's the cool part about this, is there are many ways you can get in there. So if you are in your company and they have a cybersecurity side, just ask your manager, send you there. Hey, I just got trained in cybersecurity, this and that. Hey, can you help me? That's what happened with me. So I just told my manager, I said, hey, he was really cool about it. So one of those things. So when I told him, I said, hey, I just finished this. Can you help me? Do you know how I can do this? Because it's easier if you are inside of your company, because you already know what they do there. Exactly. And then they just transfer you there. It's gonna be easier than if you have, a new, you don't know, a new type of equipment they use, or things like that. So you have to learn them on those 3 months. But if you're already in the company, all you need to do is the transition. So that's what happened with me. So that's why I said it's a little bit different, but it's the same thing. It's just so you have so many options on how you can get there. Yeah. So you're not going to get discouraged.
I'm so happy that you mentioned that, because many of y'all, many times, and I'll admit that I haven't talked about this enough, about how oftentimes most people, like, depending on what company you're at, your company, most companies that y'all are at have cybersecurity. I don't care if you work at Walmart. Walmart has cybersecurity engineers. They have a tech side of Walmart. And so even if you're a cashier or a deli person at Walmart, literally you can do the cybersecurity course. So you can go the route she went, where you could literally just talk to your management, and now you're an internal hire within the company, which of course you already know the probability of you getting hired or getting moved over to that role is significantly higher, because the company no longer has to figure out if you're a culture fit. They don't have to figure out if you're not going to have to go through orientation and all those other things. So that gives you a huge opportunity to go internally as well as apply outside of your company as well to look at other opportunities. So thank you. So thank you so much for mentioning that, Rebecca, because that's something that we really don't talk a lot about on my platform. And so I think that's really important to touch on that. Now, I love that you went that route. That's incredibly smart. Incredibly smart.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of people, they don't think about that. Like your company, they don't want to hire people from outside where they don't know if that people is gonna stay or if that person knows how to work. Like if that person, can talk to people or they can get along with people, because you're gonna be working with people. So they don't have to figure that with you. They can be like, oh, so you did that, so we're gonna help you transition. So most companies, they're gonna do that. So don't be saying that, oh, since I'm inside of the company, I don't think they're gonna pay me. I need to go somewhere else. That will be something that you just having more work to do when you do that. Just if you have that opportunity, you have that option inside of your company, just do it. Go with it.
If you so someone asked a question. So y'all, we are going to get to the majority of the questions at the end, but there is one question that I do think is important to mention, since you kind of just spoke about this, but I want to double back. The question is from Corey Cometh. It's, how was your cohort's experience looking for jobs? So obviously you did internally, but what about, do you know of any other examples of people who they got jobs that did the same program you did, and they just were out applying and interviewing the traditional way?
Mm-hmm. So the really cool thing with the program as well, once you're done with the program, it's not like, okay, you're done, goodbye. You still have access to the community, and then they did interview prep sessions with us, and then one of the sessions, they show you how to apply with AI tools. So they show you exactly what you need to do, because they said, yes, you're gonna put the work now. Because it's not like one resume fits all. It doesn't work like that anymore. So they showed us how to apply with AI, and that was really cool. And then they show you like for example, what you need to put. Like the AI is gonna do everything for you. So you got a job, the requirements, you just tell AI, hey, I'm gonna apply for this. This is what I need, and then it's just gonna do that resume for you, and then you apply, which gonna put you like really on your top of your game. So that was really cool.
I love that. Look, y'all, I'm telling y'all, so many people are worried about AI. And it's like, when you're getting in tech, like when you're doing a program like this, where they are teaching you how to leverage AI when it comes to your role, and especially when it comes to you landing a job, it puts you so ahead of the curve of everyone else. So that's fire. I love that they do that. I love that they do that. You mentioned earlier as well that the program, that what they teach you is current to the market. I hope that y'all peep game when she said that, because I'm gonna be real. Y'all could go to college, and y'all know I always say don't go to college to get in tech. But let's say any one of you, if you were to go to most colleges or universities right now for cybersecurity, what you would be learning more than likely would be slightly outdated or really outdated, depending on which college or university you're going to, because it takes a lot longer for them to update the curriculum and the courses to keep up with the industry, versus a program which is essentially a smaller school. They're more limber. They can make changes and adjustments quickly. Sometimes even during a program and during a cohort, they can make those adjustments. So it keeps you, again, ahead of the curve, ahead of the market. And that's why a lot of companies are preferring to hire people that have done a cybersecurity program versus college graduates, because they know they're going to have to reteach the college graduate what the current market is. So sometimes it just doesn't make sense to them. And that's why even a lot of tech companies are creating their own boot camps. That's why, you know, a lot of these tech companies have boot camps now because they don't even trust colleges anymore. They're like, we're going to create our own boot camp so that we could have people go through our boot camp and then we hire them, because they can't trust a lot of these colleges and universities anymore. So I love that so much. So look, we see y'all dropping questions in here. For those of y'all that are on Instagram, make sure that y'all are following the pinned comment. Thank you, Trey Days, for putting that in here. Trey Days, by the way, y'all, for those of y'all that do this cybersecurity program, make sure you hit me up or you hit him up, because his company is mass hiring for cybersecurity roles. So literally, like, let me know. Y'all DM me as soon as y'all finish this program, and whether I send y'all to, you know, to him. Don't start blowing him up right now, y'all, because if you hit him up and you're not like qualified in cybersecurity, and qualified doesn't mean you have a couple certifications, because that ain't gonna make you qualified. And I'll let her talk about that a little bit more, the difference between just getting a couple certifications online versus actually like being trained in that way. But definitely hit me up, let me know, so I can, you know, whether it's Trey or other people, I can connect y'all with some people that companies are hiring. So anyway, that being said, let's get back to your story, Rebecca, because I'm loving this. People are loving it. Again, y'all, make sure y'all are posting y'all's questions on Instagram in the proper question section, on YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm going to make sure we get to y'all's questions as well. So let's actually touch on that point really quickly. What is the difference in your experience and in your knowledge? Because you have certifications, your certification, you got all of that stuff. But when you look out, and I'm sure you know people that have come to you and they're like, girl, I got this certification. I got my Security Plus. I have my whatever certification. How come I'm not able to get a job? When you look at that versus someone who has done a program like the one that you did, what would you say are some of the major key differences as to why it's almost impossible for someone to just get certifications alone and get a job in cybersecurity?
Yeah, that is a good question. So the difference that you realize, people tends to know that as soon as they have a certification, that, okay, that's it. You know, that's enough. I have a certification. I should be able to do it. I should be able to get the job. But in everything, you know, it's a continuous learning thing. So you cannot just say you have certification, you never touch anything after that. You finish the class, you finish the course, and then, okay, I finished the class, I passed, I did everything. Then that's it. You just close the book and was like waiting. You have to continuously learning things. Because it's a continuous learning field. There's always a new thing going on. There's a new, and then you have to always keep up with the game. Like, for example, if there is a new tools going on, you can ask question, hey, what's going on with this tool? Because most of the time when you have a job description, they will tell you exactly what they want, exactly what they need and how to do it. And sometimes people will be like, okay, so I'm certified, so I should get it. But do you know what they need? Do you know what they want? Like, do you do your research? Because you can apply for all the jobs that you want and then get, you know, you can get the calls to get interviews, but are you prepared for those interviews? Those are the questions. Like, you cannot just go blindsided in an interview and then, okay, so now you're shocked because you don't know. You're like, oh my gosh, I wasn't expecting that. So you have to always be on top of your games, not because you have a certification that that gives you like, okay, all right, I'm on top. So that's it. That's enough. I'm done. But you have to always, like me, I'm someone that's always want to learn more, and I love a challenge. I love me a good challenge. So if you're like that, you are really you're gonna thrive in it. you're gonna get it. Because if you're someone that learns quick and you love to learn, that's the field for you. But if you're someone that's going to be like, okay, it's a one and done, I'm done, that's enough, that's all I needed to learn, then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Are you able to adjust your phone at all, so that way you're like a little bit more easier to see on camera? Okay, I'm sorry, I should have asked you to do that earlier. That's my bad. Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was at a tech networking event a couple of days ago, and it was put on by Black Men in Tech. Shouts out to Black Men in Tech, and it was here in Atlanta. And before I even walked inside, a young woman came up to me and she had told me that she got a few certifications in cybersecurity. And I've heard this story so many times. Like y'all wouldn't believe me if I told y'all. I actually sometimes feel weird when I'm telling someone who like out in public that they should do a boot camp, because I don't ever like I really don't like feeling like I sound like I'm pushing something on somebody. And so when I told her, I was like, look, so this is what I told her to do. I actually told her to watch this stream. She probably didn't remember, so I'm going to make sure I send this stream to her personally, because I was like, yo, she needs to hear literally what you just said, Rebecca, from somebody who's in the industry, who can tell the difference between the two and why it's almost impossible to land a role in tech, especially cybersecurity, just by getting a few different certifications. And so I appreciate you mentioning that so much. For those that keep asking on Instagram, what is the name of the program that she did? It's called My IT Academy. But if you just comment the word cyber career, you'll get a DM. Y'all know how the automations are set up. You'll get an automated DM that'll have all the information in there, as well as the Calendly link for you to schedule a call with their advisors to ask all the questions that we're not able to answer for you during this stream. So yeah, great question. So what is your actual title and what do you do in cybersecurity? Because for those of y'all that don't know, cybersecurity actually isn't a job. There's no job called cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a sub-industry in tech. So it's a classification of different types of jobs in tech. But Rebecca, what do you do in cybersecurity?
Yeah, so right now, it is the role name is IT Technology Risk Compliance. That's the title. So that's one thing in our bootcamp that they showed us. So they told you, when you're applying, don't just search for cybersecurity or GRC analyst. There's a lot of name you will find. If you see them, you can apply for it. So they gave us a list of all the titles that is currently with what we've learned. And then they give us that list. Hey, this is the list of the name. All those titles are the, if you see that job that has this title, don't be scared. That's the same thing. It means the same thing. It's just different wording, but it's the same thing. Yeah. So it's called different things. So it's just when you read the descriptions, you will say, wait a minute, wait, it's called this, but it's the same thing. So that's the name of what I have in my company. It is IT Technology Risk and Compliance.
Yeah. And so love it. Yeah. In most roles in tech, y'all, it could a role in tech. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much. A role in tech could be called 4 different things. Like even my first role in tech, my first 3 jobs that I did, I was a sales engineer, but it could also be called a solutions consultant. It could be called a sales consultant. It could be called like a bunch of different things, but it's still the same thing. Like she mentioned, it's all really about the description. So now when you got in cybersecurity, you were actually doing a role in tech that I typically tell people is not really a tech job, even though it sounds technical and it's kind of doing some technical stuff, but it's always treated separately from the tech industry, mainly because of the pay and because of really
stress.
So can you explain to people what exactly were you doing before you became a cybersecurity engineer, or not cybersecurity engineer, but excuse me, a risk analyst? So what were you doing before you actually were working in cybersecurity? And if you can speak to, you can be vague, you don't have to be specific. You can be as specific or as vague if you want. How much of a pay increase was it for you? And also transformation in life overall was it for you when you went from that role to being a risk analyst?
Yeah, so prior to that, it is what I know a lot of people will hear. It is product support technician, which is basically IT, and then what you do troubleshooting, reset passwords, and things like that. So, but people tend to say that it it's just the basic. Like if you were in IT, it's easy to understand a lot of things when you go to cybersecurity, because what you're gonna do is managing, if someone, their password, if they're really complying with all those things. But to say it's tech, but you keep on getting those calls, and sometimes the people are nice, sometimes they're not that nice. So it's not something that I always knew it's not something I want to do for the rest of my life, talking to people. I love talking to people in meetings, but not on phone calls when you're like, hey, this one is bro, I need to work, and that's not pleasant, when
Yeah.
someone is frustrated, and you have to de-escalate it though, because that's what they
Mhm.
said you have to do. So I always knew I didn't want to do that. But when you get in that field, though, it gives you an idea on what's to come for cybersecurity. So to during that time, I was doing the product support technicians, and then I was like, okay, cybersecurity, because sometimes I have to escalate and then you go to cybersecurity. I'm like, wait a minute, that's something I want to do. I want to go there.
Yeah.
And then so when I got there, so the pay, it depends on the company
Mhm.
for product support technicians. But even if you hear that they pay let's say $28 an hour, and you're gonna work for that $28 an hour. You're gonna be stressed out for that 20. I always avoid those, okay? Whenever I would see those tech, I would be like, no, I know. Just like when you see those jobs for a warehouse, they said, oh, it's $30. You're like, okay, $30, they're gonna make you work.
Yeah.
So I knew, okay, no matter the amount of money they're gonna give me on those, IT jobs, I don't want it, because I want to be stress free. I want to be
Mhm.
working in an environment where I have a team with me to work
Yeah.
together. You problem solving some things together. You're doing all those things. I always knew I wanted to do that. So, but when you first getting, you have, there's something I want to tell people. You have to be open minded when you first get into cybersecurity, because you don't have really that much experience. And if you are doing it, like for example, for people that's gonna get hired outside of their company, like they have to go to the traditional ways where they're gonna, you know, applies, go to interviews and things like that. There's a certain things when you first get in there you cannot do, for example, to really negotiate your price, because you're gonna have just getting started with the field. So you have to be open-minded with that, because what it's gonna do for you, because you don't have to stay there, even if it's like, okay, I'm not doing that, six figure yet, but you on the way. Because what's gonna happen, you get in there, you get the feel, you know exactly how things gonna go. So in 6 months, you should be able to apply to the other one that's six figures. So
Mhm.
it's not rocket science. But that's why I said you have to be open-minded. Don't just think that, okay, you have zero experience and then you're gonna do six figures. It's not gonna work like that. So you have to be open-minded to be like, okay, I gotta start somewhere, get the feel, because now after 6 months, if the company that you are, they don't want to increase it, now you're like, okay, you know what, I know how things work. In an interview, I can actually talk about it. I can
Mhm.
actually give them examples. I can actually tell them what I did. And then, that's going to give you more leniency, to say, a sort of way, like where people will be like, okay, so she, even though it's not like a year, even though it's not like 3 years, but she's really good at what she's doing.
Yeah.
Even though there's someone that had the degrees. That's why in our bootcamp they told us, don't be afraid if they said you need to have a bachelor degrees. Don't be afraid of that, because what's gonna keep you in the game is what you can do for them. So your knowledge. So don't be afraid. Someone that has a degree, that went to college and this and that, bachelor degrees and all those things, you might be better than them,
Mhm.
because there's a
Yeah.
certain things that you will know in your boot camp. They didn't learn that in college.
Yeah.
So you
Mhm.
have a lot of advantage. So don't be afraid of that.
Yo, that's actually a perfect time. You mentioned college versus boot camp. A question I know a lot of people are going to want to know is, did you go to college at all to get, like, do you have a degree?
Nope. I've never been to college, so I've never set foot in college. Never had to, never had to sign up, do anything of that. So, which one of the things sometimes, even some of my friends, I would tell them, I would be like, "So you've never been to college?" I said, "Nope," because I always knew I don't want that debt. Okay, I don't want that debt because there's other routes for that.
Yeah.
Like when you just pay out of pocket for a boot camp, you just know you're done. You're done. You learn the things, you're done. You get your certification, you're done. But when you're in college, because a lot of people they went to college, yes, it's a nice day, you graduate, you wear that gown and everything. I'm not opposed to it. You want to go to college, go. But most of the people that I've known that went to college, when they done, they start working, they cannot enjoy their money because they have to pay the debt first. And then after that, they can enjoy their money. I didn't
Yeah.
want that's something I always knew I didn't want.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true. You know what's interesting is how it kind of goes back to the first thing you said in the beginning. Let me know in the comments if y'all agree with this or not. But it goes back to the first thing you said, where how a quality program like the one that you did, how it's an investment, how people should always shift their mindsets. And I say this all the time, y'all. Like she made her money back really fast. Like from like once, you know, she made her money back really fast. Everybody that did the program she did, her cohort of other classmates and stuff like that have landed their roles, they made their money back at least within like their first month to 2 months of working their role in tech. They made their money back. You can't say that for college. So it's crazy to me how people will do 4 years of college. And honestly, I feel like we're all manipulated. We know this. We're manipulated by the government, by society. That says, hey, you need to go to college, but it's really just a way for colleges to make a bunch of money. They're just this big organization that has all of this power and connection within our government. So everything in society says you have to go to college to get this degree, but it's really just for these colleges to get $100,000, $200,000, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing like a high-paying career like hers or something in the medical field, it's really just a way for them to get $50,000 to $150,000, $200,000. Of course, Sally Mae, of course, you're paying it to Sally Mae, but Sally Mae paid it first to the college, and now you're just paying Sally Mae or the government back. So really, the money really went to the colleges, but then the college does nothing to help you get a high-paying career. So it's crazy that we've been brainwashed. And again, it made sense before, y'all, but these past 10 years since tech boot camps have popped up, that's why I talk about this so much, because I'm like, yo, even if there's a tech boot camp, let's say there's a tech boot camp that's 5,000, 10,000 versus college that's 50,000, 100,000. College takes 4 years. Tech boot camp takes a few months. College doesn't help you get a job in tech. Tech boot camps do help you. They go above and beyond and give you all types of resources. And then you're not paying anything back. Like all of her money is her money. Like she, and it's like, to me, that's why what you said at the beginning, Rebecca, is like, yo, this is the best. That's why, y'all, I talk so much about tech boot camps. I'm like, this is a crazy hack, you know. And so, anyway, let me get off my horse. Somebody asked a question, and we're gonna talk a little bit more, but then we're gonna transition over into everybody's questions, y'all. Also, y'all, let us know if y'all are enjoying this. Make sure y'all are putting y'all questions in the question section here on Instagram. Also, hit the like button, especially those of y'all on LinkedIn and YouTube. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button right now. That's the only thing I'm gonna ask y'all to do. You ain't gotta send no money, you ain't gotta send no chat, none of that. Just hit the like button, because y'all know how that algorithm works. It helps out the channel. It helps monetize my channel so I can pay my team and my virtual assistants, because they be in the DMs answering y'all's questions, helping people out, all of that stuff. They edit the videos y'all see from the podcast. They invite speakers and people to come on the podcast. So y'all, please just hit the like button so YouTube can pay us, so I can continue to pay my team little extra bonuses and things like that. But to the question that Corey Cometh has, how long was the program that you did?
Oh, the program is only 6 weeks. So it's like, it is 6 weeks, okay? It's not like something that you're going to do 4 months or anything. It is 6 weeks of a program, and it's 2 days a week. Okay, one Wednesday and one Saturday. So Saturday we call it lab session. So on Saturdays that's when you do hands-on on all those tools. So on Wednesday you get the lesson, you learn about the thing, and then on Saturday you do the hands-on. So it's like 2 days for 6 weeks. So you get a lot of things.
Yo, that is incredible. Incredible. I'm gonna be real. I thought it was a little bit longer, and even a little bit longer. I thought it was really short, but 6 weeks is fire. Really, what I'm curious about, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit more offline, because I'm actually really curious. Most of my friends, I'm gonna be real, y'all. I'm gonna call my friend out right now. I'm gonna say his name. I know y'all know Tay on Tech, my homeboy Tay on Tech, who's really popular in cybersecurity. He's a homeboy of mine, somebody that I respect a lot, and in some ways I look up to him in the tech space in terms of his knowledge. He's in cybersecurity. He actually put a post up on Instagram today, and he's always putting posts up. Like he promotes a few different boot camps, but he always says you can't get a job in cybersecurity after just a couple months of a boot camp. And I'm like, yes, you can. And so, but the thing is, I'm so excited to talk about the program she did, because like her and other people, they've been landing jobs in cybersecurity. They've been killing it, because it's not like she just got in. It's not like she just got in like a couple months ago. She's been in it now for a little over a year. So she's been crushing it, been doing her job, as well as other people as well. So I'm gonna send this video to I'm gonna send this video over to him so that way he can see this. I'm gonna talk to him about it. But anyway, so dang, 6 weeks, that's incredible. That's phenomenal. All right, so all right, good stuff. So before we transition over to the questions, I know there's so many things you could probably say. If you could go back and talk to yourself a year and a half ago, when you were considering doing the program, when you weren't really sure, when you were like, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it, what's a word of advice that you would give to yourself? And in a way, kind of share that advice in a way that you feel it can kind of speak to everybody else. Because there are people here that are on the fence. There are people here that are like, okay, am I really sure? They're inspired right now. But like, what's a word of advice that you would just sincerely give to someone?
Okay, so one thing I would tell people, and I told my instructor, Victor, and I told him that, and I said, a lot of people, whenever, don't say that you see a boot camp, oh my gosh, you see the money, whoo, ding, 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 it's just ringing in your head. It's a lot of money. I just want to get into something that you would want to do, something that you would love to do. That's going to help you a lot and motivate you. Because if you just go there just for the money, you're not going to enjoy it. There's a lot of things that are going to be like, oh my God, this is so hard. What is going on? This is not getting in my head. Why is it so hard to understand? Get something that you're passionate about. If cybersecurity is something that you're really passionate about, you really love, it's something that you really want to do, go for it. That's one thing I want people, because I did that mistake before where I had someone that was like, okay, there's another program for Scrum Master. There's a bootcamp for Scrum Master. And then they said, yeah, it pays a lot of money. And I just saw money and I went there. I got certified. Yes, that's why I said certification don't means nothing. I got certified for it, but I never worked for it because it's not something that I really like to do. So it was something like, yes, I invested for it, but that money just went away. Just paid like that. So find something that you would really want to do. So if cybersecurity is something that you really like, that's the advice I would give. If it's something that you're passionate about, go for it. But if you're just saying it just for the money wise, don't do it. You're not gonna stay. You find it difficult. There's a lot of things, the challenges that's gonna come with it. You're gonna think that it's the end of the world. You're not gonna be passionate about it. So find something. If cybersecurity is really something that you want to do, that's your calling, that's something that you said, okay, that's something I really want to do. Where you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you're like, yes, I want to work, instead of be like, oh my gosh, another day. So find something that you really want to do. That's my advice I would give.
And last question, and then we're going to get over to everybody else's questions. So make sure y'all got y'all's questions ready. You mentioned before how stressed out you were in doing when you were doing IT support versus So even though you're getting paid more now, would you say that the stress level has increased? Has it gone down, or is it about the same?
So, okay. So I hate the phone, okay? So I hate the phone. When you have your phone constantly, especially when something broke down. So I hate the phone. That's something I always knew I hate. So you always get challenges. Any work that you go to, you will get challenges. But the good thing is you have a team with you. It's not like they just throw you in there, hey, fix. And then with the thing, with our program, the GRC analyst, you're not gonna do coding. Okay, you're not gonna do coding. Coding is not for you. All you gotta do is the side of the things where you find something that is wrong, you sit down with people, hey, this is wrong. They need to be compliant with something. You said, hey, this is what we need to do. Hey, can you send me over some documents? Like you even talk to HR, okay? So so it's not like you're gonna do coding. Like if something is wrong, it's gonna be up to you to fix it. No, so the developers are there for that. So so it's you have challenges, but it's not like you're gonna be coding. It's something that out of this world you never learned about, and then you have to do. So it's not like that. You're still gonna get challenges. I mean, every jobs you get challenges sometimes where something is bugging, and then you have to really poke your brain to figure it out. That will happen. But I hate it. But you know what? Getting on the call is way worse than that, where you set up meetings, you tell people, hey, what time you can go into that meeting so we can talk. You do the report and everything, things like that. As opposed to you have the phone calls. Oh my God, my phone would not turn, my laptop will not turn on. What is going on? I need to work and now I'm late. And then whenever you're trying to tell them to you, because you have to walk them through sometimes to what to do, and then they're not doing it right. So the phone, I used to be on the phone for 2 hours, okay, trying to troubleshoot something.
Jeez.
2 hours and a half, okay? So
Yeah.
I hated it.
Mm-mm.
So I don't think people can compare that to that because there's no comparison.
So look, y'all, there you have it. If you want to do something where it's a non-customer facing role, like what she's doing now. Now she's not having to, deal with the stress of customers and stuff and be on crazy long calls and all of that like she was before. And so definitely this is it. But also, yeah, there are certain roles. I'm happy you mentioned that you don't code or you don't have to code as a risk analyst, because a lot of y'all think that in every role in cybersecurity you have to code. But this is one of the roles that you don't have to code or be that type of a technical person. But again, the program that she did, for those of you that do it, they'll give you everything that you need, so that way you're prepped up and skilled up. All right, y'all. So look, we got to go ahead and get to y'all's questions, and then I'm going to let her enjoy the rest of her night. So let's see. Someone asked, can you do contracting or any type of consulting in a GRC role?
I mean, I don't know, but I do know sometimes there are different roles. Like, cybersecurity is really vast when it comes to that. It is really big because there is something that you can find a company where they have to hire a contractor to help them with the compliance. So you have compliance officers. So if that's something that you can be a contractor there to help them with their compliances. So it's really vast on what going on with cybersecurity. It's not like a small thing where it's like GRC analyst is the first one, okay? So it is the first one, and that is the one that is the non-technical one. So there's a lot of them where that's why they said it would take you 4 years to learn everything. If you want to learn everything, it's gonna take you 4 years. But I didn't want to. But the good thing is, once you are in there, though, you want to move up, you can. If you wanna say, okay, let's say you're a GRC analyst, you wanna be a manager, you can get there, as opposed that if you go to college. But it's not really that difficult. But as the contracting, it's just you'll see there are some companies that's for that. But there's some jobs that will tell you, hey, if it's a contract, they want you for 2 years to help them, and then they're gonna tell you, hey, it's a contract. But if they just want you to be hired in the company to just be there, it will be there in the job descriptions. If they just want you to be as a contract 2 years, 3 years contract, as opposed to just be there, they will let you know. But there are other things as contractors as well, on the side, where, because that's why I said you don't do anything by yourself. And even when you go in the company and you see something, you said, hey, we'll need that help. Hey, we need a compliance, those people, contractors, to help us with that compliance, to comply with those, this and that. They will listen to you. They'll be like, okay, you just let us know what you need, and they would do it. So you're not thrown in there to be by yourself. And one thing about the bootcamp that I did, even if you get a job, you still have that community, okay? Because they want you to pay it forward. They want you to help other people. Or if you have any questions, like if like there's a lot of people, when they apply for a job, they did their interviews. They said, hey, before you get there, don't get the first slot. Get one that is in the middle so we can help you prepare for it. So you have that help. You're not alone. You have that help, and those people are always there for you. You still have that recordings from the classes. They're not gonna go away. You're still gonna have access to those recordings, the classes, everything that you need if you want to go back and have a little refresh, because you're gonna be nervous when you get into that new role and things like that. But they'll be there for you. They will help you.
Yeah. All right. So I see a bunch of new people popping in and asking what is the program that she did. So those are you that are on YouTube and LinkedIn. If y'all click the drop down, you'll see all the information about it, as well as how to actually be able to set up a call with one of their career advisors. It is My IT Academy. Those of you that are, and if y'all have any trouble spelling that or wanting to make sure you're getting the specific link and not going to a wrong link or anything, then definitely click the drop down so you're seeing the right link and you have access there. Those of y'all that are on Instagram, just comment cyber career. I was about to say career cyber. Comment cyber career, and you will get the information automatically to your DMs. That's break down everything in there. For those of y'all that are like, okay, cool, I'm going to go ahead and sign up. If you want a discount, if you want to save several $100s, then as always, I have a discount code for y'all. Y'all will see that in your DMs. And those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, you'll see the code there that's there in the comments. I believe the code is TechBlack40. But again, don't quote me on that. Make sure that you're actually looking in the DMs and that you're looking at the drop down that's there for you. So super, super cool. All right, so we're going to get to some of these other questions. I see people putting questions in the comment section, but that's not the right place to put the questions. So you got to put them in actual question bubble there for you. So, all right. Oh yeah, someone asked. All right, I love this question. I love questions like this. They said, did the 6-week program, did My IT Academy prepare you for a job? Or did you do a lot of additional studying before landing that job?
Okay, so there is one thing, like, this will help you a lot because they give you the tools, they give you, to do the classes. There's a lot of terms you learn with there. They told you exactly what's going on in the cybersecurity world at the moment. But yes, you have to do your own study. You have to keep up because they're helping you. You have to help yourself. It's always like that. They help you, you help yourself. Yes, there's a lot of things because in 6 weeks there's a lot of things that you will not learn everything, but you get most of the important things that you need. But there's other things that you need to do self-studies, do some little researches on, some of the things that's going on right now in the tech world that you need to keep up with. You have to do them, So, help yourself. Even in the Bible, it said, help yourself and and the sky will help you. So, God will help you. You have to help yourself first. They're helping you, they're guiding you exactly where you need to be. But there are other things that you need to learn for yourself.
Yeah. That's perfect. I love that. Love that. So let me see. Do you have a security clearance? Someone asked, do you have a clearance? I think they think you work in GovTech. So look, y'all, you only need a clearance when you work in GovTech. So she probably doesn't have a clearance because she doesn't work. She doesn't work in GovTech. One thing I will tell y'all. So I love GovTech, by the way, y'all. I love GovTech. Shouts out to Miss GovTech herself, which is my homegirl, Simone Bees. GovTech is dope. One thing I will say is that typically speaking, GovTech doesn't tend to pay as well, typically speaking. So she could do her program and she could go out and get a security clearance and get in GovTech. But no, she doesn't have a clearance because she didn't go the GovTech route. Again, you can make a lot of money in GovTech. I'm just saying, generally speaking, you're usually not starting out or scaling as far income wise from working one job unless you're job stacking. Anyway, so let's see. All right, she already answered how long the program is. It's 6. It was 6 weeks when she did it. Again, make sure y'all. One thing I will say, y'all, specific questions about the program, things like how long was this, how much is this, things like that. You need to literally just go to the site or ask the advisors that, because the time she did it, things could have changed. That was a year and a half ago. But also, y'all have to keep in mind, I also want to be mindful for people that are watching this video a year and a half later on YouTube. You know, I want to make sure that I'm not saying something, then y'all go and check it out and something changes. So, all right.
I saw a comment saying that they heard a Haitian accent. Yes, I'm Haitian.
Yo, love it. Love it so much. 1 second. All right, cool. Oh, please, let me be polite. All right, so she already mentioned what her role is. It's technically it's a risk analyst, but they have a variety of other names, other things that it could be called. All right, someone asking the range or ballpark. So the range or ballpark for this role, I actually looked it up on Google. Now this is specific for Georgia. So if you live in a different state, then it could be something different. But typically the range for this role starting out is typically around $70,000 to $95,000 starting out. So, and it could be more than that. You know, I would say don't accept nothing less than that, because that's kind of crazy if you accept something less than that. But anyway, let me move on. All right. So, seeing if y'all posted any other questions in here. If I have an undergraduate certificate in cybersecurity, all right. So I'm direct this question towards you. If I have an undergraduate certificate in cybersecurity, is that enough to get an entry-level cybersecurity role?
Again, the certification is not going to avoid you anything. So the only thing is your knowledge. What do you know about the role that you're going to be applying for? Because all the people wants to know, the question they're going to ask you in those interviews are, you know, especially when they told you, tell me about yourself. Like, it's just telling them the path. What have you been doing? So you can have that undergraduate certification, but you don't know what's going on. What are the tools they're using right now? Are you familiar with them? Like the compliances that they want in that company. Can you help them with that? Are you familiar with that? Those are the things that you will need to learn. Like in our bootcamp, most of the things that is on top of the game, like that is really popular in the cybersecurity, they teach us about it. But there are other, that's why I said you have to do self-study. There are other things, because there's a lot of things that so many companies, they can be different. So sometimes you have to do your own research when you see it, so you know, because sometimes you don't even need, like, especially if you know exactly what you're going to bring to the table, you don't even need to know the tea, like the inside out of the things that they will need. As soon as you understand what you're going to be doing, that's going to help you a lot. So again, if you have that undergraduate, if you know what's going on, then yes, it can help you. But if you don't have that knowledge, then it's going to be difficult when they ask you certain things. You're not going to know them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, y'all. So I see y'all putting questions in the question section. Y'all, again, not in the question section. Y'all put it in the comment section. she doesn't code at all. She doesn't have to code in her role. So in a risk analyst role, you're not required to code in that role. So someone asked here on YouTube, they said, okay, but what if I want to learn how to code? So do they teach coding at all, or is it just the
Um, I don't think they do the coding, the teaching of the coding, because there is a lot of in depth that will go through it. I don't know if they're gonna incorporate that, but that's why what we're doing is GRC analyst. But if you already know how to code, it's a plus for you.
yeah.
It's a big plus for you. But if you're like me, there's a lot of people. I'm a single mom. So if you're a single mom and you're like, you know what, I want to live my sweet life, okay? I want to be able to take vacation where I don't have to worry. I want to live my life a certain way. You always find the way that's gonna be easier for you. If you want to do the coding, there is another name for it. So I'm not sure there's boot camp for that, but that's why I said cybersecurity is really vast. There are other ones, because the one that we did, which is the GRC analyst, is the very first one, which is the non-technical one. So you don't need to do coding. You don't need to learn it as well. You just need to know some of the terms that the developer is going to be using. So if you're familiar with the terms and things like that, you are good to go.
Yeah. So to break it down, they aside from cybersecurity, they also teach they also teach cloud. They teach cloud, SOC engineering. So aside from GRC, so again, these are entry level, y'all. So we're talking about getting into the industry, breaking into the industry, learning how to code. I'm gonna be real. If you want to learn how to code and get a role in coding, the program ain't gonna be 6 weeks.
No.
If you're gonna code, if you want to learn how to code to a degree that you're even sufficient for an entry level role, you're talking 6 months, 9 months, something like that. Everything y'all see me do with Tech is New Black, the whole purpose of this platform is showing people how to get 6-figure careers where you're not having to code. But some of the things, if you want to code, that's cool. But mainly what I talk about is how to get in tech without going into crazy debt, having to spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, it not taking you, 9 months, a year, 2 years, stuff like that. That's literally, so we're talking entry-level tech roles. Now, again, you could do an entry-level role in tech where you're coding, but now you're talking 6 months and more of education for you to land that entry-level role. So, just to kind of put into perspective when it comes to that. But yeah, so they have again, SOC engineering, cloud, and of course, GRC, where she was able to land the role that she currently has in tech. So good stuff. All right. Someone asked, what did you find challenging when you started in your role and how did you overcome it? Okay. Interview questions.
So again, for me, it was different. So I was already in. So I knew the ins and out of different things that was happening in my company. But still, when you first started a role, you're going to be nervous about a certain things. But then again, they're not going to be like, hey, you just started, hey, fix this, There's a lot of things. The first thing that I was going to say is some of the terms that can throw you off because most of the time they talk an abbreviation, So if you're not used to it, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is this? Oh my gosh, what is that? But it is not as stressful, I would say, like that when you because it's not like a one person team. Like you have a team of people with you. Like if you have questions, they're gonna help you. If there's something that you don't, and then again, you still have your community of that bootcamp that you have that question. Hey, there's something that's going on. Can you help me with that? They will help you with that as well. But the challenging things I would say is the transition, because I was someone that was on the phone and then, doing answering phone calls and helping people troubleshooting and such. Being in that quiet environment was a little bit weird. So where you have tasks to do. you on the day you have to go through your emails to see what's going on, who reach out to you. You have tasks where if there's a threat, the little threat, you have to look up to see if it's something that's gonna be really bad for the company. You have little tasks that you do, but then again, it's not the same as those where you are so um you're stressed out because you're doing this, and the person, you don't know how to help the person, but the person is hectic. So it's just gonna varies again with um the job description on what you have to do to know exactly what's gonna happen, because most of the jobs, they will tell you exactly a variety of what you're gonna be doing, and then to kind of tell you, hey, this is what we need from you. And then if you're not familiar with it, then it's going to be a little bit challenging to learn it, because you're going to be working and learning at the same times. If you are smart to do that, instead of throwing, because when you first started, they're not going to throw you in there. You have that period where you're learning the stuff. I've heard my other peer where when they started, they're just gonna give you those learning things. You're learning the company. They're gonna tell you, hey, go do that learning for today. Go check this out. You're learning some of the things. And then after that, that's when they're gonna really look at how you're working, if you are really a good fit, or what you're bringing. Are you bringing something to the company? Are you making any changes to the company? What is it that you do? But when you first started, nobody's on your back, okay? Not on all those jobs where everybody's on your back, like to be like micromanaging you. So it's not like that. So I would say like just take a deep breath and just go there, be open minded, be there to learn, and then don't be rude because you'll be talking to people. Those are the things.
Yo, so I just got a really huge update, y'all. So in the GRC program that she did, they actually also teach you cloud computing as well in that same program. So in reality, you'll be dual trained in technically two different major fields or roles in tech. So not just GRC, but also cloud computing as well. And so, which of course opens the door for a variety of other roles and opportunities. So I wanted to update y'all on that because I literally just saw that and I was like, yo, that's fire. At first, I thought it was a separate thing, but I just realized it actually is encompassed in the GRC program. I'm not sure if that was the case when Rebecca did it. I know it was a year and a half ago. Was that the case at the time that you did it, Rebecca?
Yeah, it is, because that's
Okay,
why I
cool.
said you have one of the days you're learning, and the other on Saturdays. They all those all those tools that you get there, and then you do hands on with it to download it on your computer and see what they look like. Do some little you get assessment too. Get some assignment to hey, can you do this, and then send it to me, and then they will grade you and see how you get there, if you're doing it wrong, if you're doing it right. So it's really something that you really learning those tools.
Yeah. Good stuff. So that's huge, y'all. Please take advantage of that because that's major. That makes you very well rounded and really makes you very dangerous and stand out in the industry as a candidate, not just getting in the industry, but also moving up in the industry as well. So we are about to go ahead and wrap up, y'all, because we are way over time. I told her we were going to be finished way sooner than what the time is right now. So look, y'all, again, for those of y'all that tuned in late, she did My IT Academy. She did the cybersecurity program or the GRC program, and she now is working in the cybersecurity industry. The program is only 6 weeks long. For those of y'all on Instagram that are interested in knowing more and talking to one of their career advisors, they do free consultation calls. And just like she mentioned, the first class is free. So you literally get some training early to be able to fill it out and be like, okay, yeah, this is fire. So not only you're hearing her testimony, y'all are gonna hear some other testimonies too, because I've been finding, just like she mentioned, a bunch of people from her cohort have broken into the industry as well. I've found a few different people that have done this exact same program. Going to be connecting with some of them, interviewing some of them in the future. But definitely, y'all make sure that y'all jump on it. For those of you that are like, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and invest in it, then or invest into yourself when it comes to the program. If you want a discount, again, comment the word cyber career. For those of y'all that are on LinkedIn and YouTube, just go to the description and you'll see my discount code that's there. It should be Tech No, excuse me. It should be New Black 40, but don't quote me on that. Make sure you go and look at it specifically, so that way you can save yourself, a bunch of money at the end of the day. And so, other than that, thank you so much, Rebecca, for coming on here talking about My IT Academy, sharing your story, sharing a lot of perspectives and stuff that we haven't talked about a lot. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with her, and make sure y'all tap in with her. Show her a lot of love. If you need just a couple questions to ask her that, but don't like kill her with questions, because that's not her job. She don't get paid to answer questions about My IT Academy. She already has a job. But again, they have an actual career consultant that you can speak with for free and ask them all the questions about currently everything that they do within the program, everything top to bottom that you need to know. Love y'all so much. I love y'all for y'all investing your time into learning about different roles in tech, different opportunities. Just like Jay-Z said, y'all could be anywhere else in the world, but y'all here with me. Y'all here with us talking about tech, getting into the industry. Love y'all so much. God bless, and see y'all later.